Okay, here we go. My official review on Sonic 3. Okay. I ain't finna hold y'all. I'm not even finna hold y'all. I'm just keep it real, be real upfront. Tell y'all my thoughts on the film. Tell y'all what I like, what I didn't like. Just give me a heads up. This is as the title said. This is a spoiler review. This is a spoiler review, and I'm gonna tell y'all my thoughts on what I like, what I didn't like, what I felt like should have been done better. Cause make no mistakes, as a longtime Sonic fan, there were some missed opportunities here and there. But without a doubt, I still think this is by far the best Sonic film. At least at the time of this recording, at least. I might still love it the best in the future, but right now, as it stands right now, at the time of this recording, I feel Sonic the Hedgehog 3, in my opinion, at least, is the best Sonic film so far. Yeah. Now, I understand some people may say Sonic 2 was better, because I have seen some people say that they prefer the second film over this film. I get that. I get some people said the second film had better pacing, but it had more of a storyline. But SA2, literally SA2 at within itself is a story. Had arguably top tier best Sonic storyline. Top 10, no, not top 10. Top tier Sonic pure Sonic storyline. Matter of fact, the adventure games is what I mean. Besides Unleash, of course, is peak Sonic storytelling. It's peak Sonic stories. Yeah. Adventure games, both Sonic Adventure 1 and Sonic Adventure 2, which I really do hope they adapt as Adventure 1 one day, because I'm gonna be honest, y'all, as a longtime Sonic fan, I'm gonna be honest, y'all, I love me in my Adventure 2, but in my opinion, I've always preferred Adventure 1. Due to its gameplay, of course. Sonic Adventure 2 had the better storyline, but Sonic Adventure 1 still had a good story. And it had better gameplay. Yeah, it had better gameplay. Sonic Adventure 1 had better gameplay. Hello? Yeah. Hi. Welcome to the review. Yeah, I feel like Sonic Adventure 1 had better gameplay, in my opinion. I mean, I love Sonic Adventure 2 as well. Both adventure games, top tier. Hi, man. What's up? Don't get me wrong, but yeah, that's just my take on those games. I love both adventure games. I love both of them. But yeah, you guys good evening, Brooklyn from New York. What's up? Everybody tune in. This is my review. This is my review. So yeah. So what I like about this, let me get by the things I didn't like about the film at first before we get to the good stuff. Let's talk some nitpicks first, and then we're gonna get to the problems. All right. For one, I wished there could have been some lines. There should have been lines brought into this film. Like for one, I don't think we ever heard Shadow say, "I'm the ultimate." Maybe I need to watch it again. I watched the movie 2 times at the time of this recording, but I don't think I never heard Shadow say once describe himself as the ultimate life form. Maybe I missed it both times, but I never heard Shadow say it. I'm the life form. Yeah, he should have said that. Matter of fact, the scene where Sonic and Shadow are talking on the moon, and when they turn supersonic, Shadow should have literally said, after Sonic said gotta go fast, Shadow should have said to himself, and Sonic, I'm the ultimate life form. Yeah. Let's get that out of the way. And also, matter of fact, the scene, you know how they kept calling each other, both Sonic and Shadow kept calling each other new hedgehogs, right? Instead of calling each other new hedgehogs, they should have called each other fakers. Especially since we're adapting Adventure 2. That was one of the most famous, that was literally like one of the most famous parts about SA2. Them cussing, I mean, not cussing each other, them calling each other faker. That's one thing they should have done right in this film. They should have called each other faker. I would say call each other faker while they have while they're against each other, fighting each other. But after Sonic and Shadow talk on the moon, then that's when they call each other new hedgehogs, all that. Growing their respects, for real. Another nitpick. I'm happy we're getting game music now. I'm happy that there's some game music sprinkle out, sprinkled out here and there. But I would have preferred it if they just straight up just make the game music, remix the game music, and then just make that the soundtrack. You know, because hearing "Living Learn" in the film and hearing the Eggman thing as Eggman's tone, I mean ringtone, made me go. They need to do more of this. Do more of this. They should have done more of this from the get go. You know, take notes from the Mario movie, for instance, where they just straight up they didn't have all little iconic Mario themes sprinkled here and there. They should have just had the music be the soundtrack for the movie. They remixed from the themes, the music from the games, and then they just made them the soundtrack fitting the scene. They should have done that here as well, especially since we got Shadow now. Speaking of which, there should have been like the scene where Shadow is fighting Gun. They should have honestly they should have honestly stretched this like I forgot what I was gonna say, but they should have stretched the Sonic versus I mean Shadow versus in the they should have made the Shadow versus Gun scene longer, and they should have played "I Am All of Me" from the Shadow solo game. "I Am All of Me." Like there are literal times where they should have played this song here, this song there. This Shadow versus Gun scene sequence. They should have stretched that scene, and they should have played "I Am All of Me." Show Shadow's potential. Show Shadow build Shadow up as a threat. You know what I mean? While he's the bad guy, not the bad guy, the antagonist movie, of course. They should have played "I Am All of Me" in the Shadow versus Gun sequence, and also the scene where Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles jump out the helicopter. I know it's not necessarily the same sequence. I know they're teaming up in this movie and not Gun chasing Sonic, but they should have played it from the city instead of that song choice, that licensed song that they picked. They should have played remix "Escape from the City" and then put that there, right? Right? And also, uh, I would have liked them to flesh out. I would have liked them to flesh out. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Another nitpick. No, you know how Eggman says "damn" 2 times. You know, it makes me think to myself. They got all this cussing in these Sonic movies. You could have Shadow hold a gun. You could have Shadow on his motorcycle from the Shadow game, but you can't adapt. You can't bring in the most famous quote from that game. But yeah, you could have Eggman say "damn" a few times. You can't have Shadow say, "Where's that damn fourth Chaos Emerald?" You couldn't do that, but you could have Eggman cuss. That was the that was like one of the biggest missed opportunities right there. You could have Eggman cuss, say "damn" a few times. You could have them say hell in the last two movies. Have them say hell and piss a few times in the Knuckles spinoff. But you can't have Shadow say "damn," especially in a live action Sonic movie universe where characters cuss. You couldn't think this. You couldn't say that. Maybe they're gonna have him say the line in a future movie, which he has to literally, he has to. I swear to God, if he doesn't say it, oh. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, that's it. And another thing, another thing too. I'm sorry, there's some on my face. Let me get this real quick. All right, got it on my face. But yeah, oh man, I felt like the movie could. There are scenes that the movie could have been that they could have fleshed out on more, but they kind of skipped past it. Like for instance, the biggest thing is they should have. I personally feel like they could have fleshed out Shadow and Maria's storyline just just a tad bit way more. We could have had more scenes of Shadow and Maria before the big scene where she dies, which I'm gonna get to her death in a minute, because I got some things I need to address about her death. But yeah, they could have fleshed her out a bit. And also another thing, they could have explained how is Gerald alive. Hi, Jaden. Hi, hi. They could have explained how Gerald survived all those years. I was under the impression of they was gonna do time trouble. Some people making rumors saying they were gonna do time trouble. Like chaos control, like how it was in Sonic 06, where Shadow goes back in time and like kind of gets Gerald Robotnik back. But I've always thought something was fishy about that theory, because if that's the case, you're gonna go back and get Gerald. You might as well have gone back and get your best friend Maria before she got killed. Let's just say. Well, I'm gonna get to her death scene in a minute. I got some things I want to address. We're gonna get to her death scene, and also another thing I personally think they could have done. Let's just say if this was Jim Carrey's last film, wouldn't you want to have him show off his acting skills fully by having him play a goofy character and a serious character? Because in the games, Gerald was more serious than Ivo Robotnik. So in this film, where you have Jim Carrey, both Robotniks doing a goofy little dance sequence through the like in the gun headquarters, going through the doing a whole dance sequence, getting through the lasers, all that. It's like I can't really take this version of Eggman serious. First he first Eggman flosses in the second film, and then here and now he's doing weird dances with Gerald Robotnik, which there's a whole montage of things. Matter of fact, the scene where they're on the ark, where Gerald asks, "What would you like to do?" And then we get a whole as montage of things of both Eggmans being silly as hell, doing grandpa things. Admittedly, it was a little heartwarming, but I feel like they could have just talked about their past a little more. I feel like they could have just talked about working together on the arc instead of showing that silly. That didn't really bother me that much as the dance scene in the with the lasers, them actually getting shit done. That's what bothered me. But the little montage of them doing going on the roller coasters on Eggman Land. I see Paramount. I see that little reference Paramount. We're gonna talk about the references in a minute. But yeah, although a little speaking of the references, a little side note: can we stop having these pop culture? Stop it! No, I come to us. That's another thing. Oh yeah, so yeah. Instead of that silly little montage, we could have had them just talking, just bonding, talking. You know what I mean? Now, so speaking of the references, here's a little thing I need to touch on real quick. Yeah, like I just said a few seconds ago, stop having Sonic and Eggman with these pop culture humor. I said this in my reaction, in the trailer reaction, but I just stop it. Like it gets to a point. It gets to a point with some of this humor. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get to the humor in a second. I'm gonna get to the fucking humor in a second. But yeah, it just gets to a point with some of this humor. You know, I come to a Sonic the Hedgehog movie to watch Sonic stuff, my to watch my childhood game be adapted on the big screen, see what Hollywood could do with see see Elder game, see my lore, see the lore get adapted, see the characters get adapted, see things that I grew up playing on the big screen. I did not pay how many tick. Nope, I did not pay my tickets to watch to watch Sonic make jokes about movies. I get it. There could be a reason behind it because Sonic has lived on Earth. He's watching movies behind Tom and Maddie's house. He was watching all those movies even when he was living with them. But I personally feel like he didn't need to crack all them jokes because that kind of took me out. That's another thing about movie Sonic. It's like from the trailers, I'm thinking he's gonna mature a bit. He's gonna mature to be more like Game Sonic, which I get it. This is a different version of Sonic. I completely understand that. It's a different version of the characters, but it's like I cannot watch the films without cringing at some of the stuff he says. Like I know I get Sonic as a character always make jokes, but I genuinely cannot watch some of these scenes without cringing. Especially if you're a longtime Sonic fan, you would think he matures each movies to be more like Game Sonic. But he's I mean he does learn a few things in this film about the choices you make and family and all that, but he himself is still kind of making the same jokes. He's still doing the same referencing Comic Con. Oh no, that was Eggman that said Comic Con. He still like talk about, you know what I mean? Like it gets to a point with some of this pop culture humor. Like I'm genuinely concerned if they do decide to take have one of these movies take place in Sonic's world. Sonic's gonna make a joke about the. Oh look, this place reminds me of this movie. This place reminds me of. Oh look, Green Hill Zone reminds me of this movie. Oh, Chemical Plant. If we ever get Chemical Plant in these films, reminds me of this and that. Oh, we get let's just say we get the Death Egg at one point in these movies. Oh, you that looks like the Death Star. That since everybody always compares the Death Egg to Death Star, you know, from Star Wars. It's like it gets to a point with some of this pop culture humor. It has to stop. Sonic at one point even. references Tom Cruise when they're going on the adventure to the to the to the gun headquarters where they go to the lasers, all that. It's like it's like just enough with this pop culture humor. It just gets annoying. And also the humor in general. Yeah. Now on did I mention all the problems the nitpicks there? Yeah. Now let's get on to the actual problems. First of all, yeah, Paramount, I'm gonna be honest with you, you need to you you gotta grow you gotta they y'all gotta grow up. I'm not doing any I'm not disrespectful doing any jabs towards Paramount, but it's like at one point this series has gotta grow up. Like the children getting older, everybody's getting older. It's like you only do so much of the same stuff before it actually gets see what before it actually becomes he it gets degrading, of course. It's like I don't know how to word it, but one thing I really don't want the Sonic movies to suffer from because that's been kind of a problem with a lot of movies, especially Marvel lately. It's just the humor can take away from some of these scenes. The you always it's comedy is subjective, but at the right moments, you gotta have there is a time to be funny and there's a time to get serious. You know what I mean? A lot of the a lot a lot of these moments get like when the movie wants to get emotional, it can get emotional, but there's not really too much time on it because a lot of times we're too busy making these goddamn jokes about Eggman being silly and all this other stuff. Like the scene where Shadow and Sonic teams up for the first time, and we get that awesome "Live and Learn" song in there. Literally, right after that, we cut to Gerald Robotnik spanking Eggman. And it's like, what the fuck? You gotta grow up. Grow up. Like, just grow up. It's like, I get it. Comedy is subjective, but that kind of threw me off. That kind of took me out of the film. And also, here's another thing I don't like. Like I said, Eggman could have been way more of a threat here. Again, we're adapting SA2. Eggman was for sure a threat. Eggman was a fucking menace in SA2. And here in the SA2 style movie, you have Eggman not only getting spanked by Gerald Robotnik, you have him constantly being a fangirling over the fact that his grandpa is alive. Like, we get it, you're happy, but you don't gotta do all of that. Honestly, the moments where Ivo Eggman would say family all this, you could keep that because that's actually genuinely touching. That's touching. But that but the other stuff where he's constantly fangirling, oh my precious Robotnik, oh my grandpa and grandpappy, oh this and that, da, da, da. Cut that shit out. Cut that shit out. Matter of fact, the whole the part where Robotnik and Eggman or no, Gerald and Ivo Robotnik or I gotta keep referring to them. No. I could call him Eggman. Then we never called Gerald Eggman. We always called Ivo Eggman. Eggman and Gerald are fighting with the mechanical butterflies and the scorpion. Cut that shit out. Cut that shit out. Cut that shit out. You could just have them just. You could just have them fight each other, just throw hands at each other. You could have had. You could have had the Batniks, which were again underutilized as well. You could have had the Batniks come come and deal with one or another. You gotta have them with the scorpions, using machining scorpions, all that. Had Eggman fly with the butterfly. I ain't gonna cap. Jim, I'm happy that Jim Carrey's back as Eggman for the third time, but I'm not gonna lie to you, he could have been better. Especially when you take into account that Eggman was kind of a threat in Sonic Movie 2, if you think about it. Here, his first scene, he's already he's yes, he's fat, but he's he's lost himself. It's in a way where he's depressed and lost himself, and that's not Eggman. That's not Eggman. The Eggman I know would just keep going, continue to get shit done no matter what happens. He'll even get more insane. He'll grow more insane and get shit done. Hey, Jaden. Hi. But here in this movie, Eggman's lost himself. The first scene we see of him, he's sorry, this movie wasn't the best. In my opinion, it was the best. But that's your opinion, of course. At least in Sonic 2, he's the first scene we see of him in Sonic 2, he's trying to find ways to get back to Sonic, to get back to Earth, to get revenge on Sonic. He's building Death Egg robots. He's building the Death Egg robot. He's stealing Chaos Emeralds, the Master Emerald, going full insane. Here, what does Eggman really do? He fires Agent Stone. Sonic 1 one's the best. They kind of messed up with this one. There's missed opportunities here, but I still think Sonic 3 was the best. But like I said, like back to what I was saying, so Eggman fires Agent Stone. Gerald kind of does all the work here, if you think about it. Wait, what does Eggman really do? I haven't seen the movie in a few days. I watched it twice, but it's been a few days. He. Matter of fact, the reason why Eggman even joins Team Sonic is because Gerald led him to the lab, which is on Earth, by the way, and not in the space colony Ark like it is in SA2. But we'll get to that in a second. But if it was kind of boring, not enough action, stolen scenes from other. It's plenty of action in this film. I do think they could have fleshed some of this stuff out a little more, but there was plenty of things in this film. They could have fleshed some of the scenes out, don't get me wrong. But there was plenty of things going on in this movie. What was that song? Eggman. Oh yeah. Gerald led Eggman there, and also I personally think it would have been better if Gerald stayed, because there was no reason. They didn't give a reason for why. I'm okay. I have no problem if they would have time traveled and had Gerald, had Eggman like kind of rescue Gerald before they go back, but they kind of just, you know what I mean? They kind of just didn't give a reason. They kind of just said he stayed alive all those years, which if that's the case, you might as well just kept him dead and have Eggman grow more insane. The Eggman we know grow even more insane than he was in Sonic 2. And after knowing the truth from discovering some things and a few talks from Shadow, have him be more serious, grow insane to the point where he becomes serious, kind of like Gerald is, and have him power up the the Space Colony Arc with the Chaos Emeralds. Which, we're going to get to the Chaos Emeralds in a second, because I got some things to talk about the freaking Chaos Emeralds. I need to address something with the Chaos Emeralds in the Sonic movie universe. But yeah, they could have done that. They could have done that. But yeah, the humor, yeah, grow up. At one point, grow up with the humor. Grow up. Grow up. Grow up with the humor. But also, uh, next problem I have. Yeah, yeah, space colony arc. Yeah. So the shadow backstory, it's not really the backstory itself. It's the setting where it takes place. In the game, it took place on the ark. On the ark. The labs, it took place on the ark in space. Here, it takes place on a secret facility lab on Earth, and it's an explosion that killed. Yeah, let's just talk about the Maria stuff as well. They should have brought Amy into the movie and not at the end. We should have been had Amy since Sonic 2. I said that in my Sonic 2 review. We should have been had Amy since the second film. She would have definitely helped Shadow out, especially since that's what happened in ASI 2. Amy was the reason why Shadow became good. Otherwise, she wouldn't have cared. So, yeah. But I'm happy we're getting Amy now. Which, about time, we got Amy and Metal Sonic. But yeah. So, SA2, yeah. Not only we could have fleshed out the Maria and Shadow backstory more, but they should have had it take place in space, right? Like how it was, and also, before I address some with the Maria stuff, what are some other problems I have? Yeah, the comedy can fall flat at times. The scene, uh, I'm sorry, I'm going. I was just holding something. I'm not even fucking. I'm so sorry. But yeah, scene where what is it? Oh. How about this? The scene where Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles get into that little argument outside of the when Tom in gets injured from Shadow punching him, where Sonic and Knuckles have that little argument saying, "Where's the Master Emerald?" I'll be honest with you. Who else thought they were gonna actually fight? Not necessarily a huge action sequence, like a little short fight, kind of like in the Adventure One, where they argue for the Chaos Emeralds and then get to fighting. They should have had a scene like that, where they kind of go their separate ways, where Sonic's choice kind of led them to go their separate ways. And you want to know something else? Both Sonic Adventure games are both known for fleshing out some of the other characters. They should have. Don't you think they should have fleshed out? They should have had Tails and Knuckles. Since I'm happy that Tails and Knuckles get more to do in this film. That's one thing I'm happy for sure. Especially Tails, since y'all seen Sonic 2. We all kind of thought Tails was kind of in the background in that film. But but they could have done even more with it. I'm happy they get more to do, but they could have done even more with it. They could have had Tails. It's like in SA1. Once they kind of go their separate ways, they should have had Tails. Like, let's just say have a scene where either Agent Stone or some of the Batniks attack a city and had Tails kind of like save them on his own. Then kind of like have Maddie kind of say she's proud of Tails and all that stuff. And then have a scene where Knuckles protects the Master Emerald. Yeah. Try to find put the Master Emerald pieces back together. And you want to know something else? They didn't have to do this. I'm not saying they should have done this, but one thing I would have liked was when Sonic was trying to get his revenge on Shadow. Sonic fans, hear me out. We could have gotten Dark Sonic. Dark Sonic from Sonic X making a return here. We could have gotten Dark Sonic. Like the part where Sonic was about to land the final blow. We could have had Dark Sonic there. And just when he's about to land the final blow, we get the scene as it is in the movie where Sonic remembers how what it's like to make the choices we make. And then that's when Dark Sonic goes away. He just becomes Super Sonic for a few scenes, for a few moments. And yeah, that's what could have happened. It would have made the film dark, like they tried to do, while taking some creative liberty. Since I understand it's a movie adaptation, they're gonna do some different things. Yeah, we could have had Amy and Rouge and Omega, right? Right? Team Sonic versus Team Dark. There could have been, dude, bro. There could have been a whole Team Sonic versus Team Dark segment. There could have been a whole Team Sonic versus Team Dark segment. I understand. I'm not saying just straight up just adapt Sonic Adventure to the movie. I'm not saying that at all. Matter of fact, I'm happy, even as a Sonic fan, you could be surprised by some of the things we do. But yeah. Oh yeah, speaking of the Chaos Emeralds, let's talk about the Chaos Emeralds in the Sonic franchise. Before we get to the biggest problem with the Shadow and Maria stuff, let's talk about the Chaos Emeralds for a second. Because it is indeed a problem with the Sonic movie universe. I don't like how they just in Sonic Adventure, especially in Sonic Adventure, I don't like how they just throw, especially in this movie. I don't like how they just throw in the Chaos Emeralds in the last minute. It's like it felt like the Chaos Emeralds was thrown in the last minute. They should have put more emphasis on the Chaos Emerald. We could have had Shadow use Chaos Control for a few minutes, for a few scenes, fighting other characters. We could have had Shadow use Chaos Control. We never had that. You're adopting Shadow the Hedgehog and you forget one of the biggest things about him. We don't have Chaos Control. I'm happy we get Super Shadow here, but I felt like even with Super Shadow, there should have been Chaos Control. Because some of the early reviews I've been watching, they said that the Shadow and Sonic fight felt like an anime, and to an extent, it does feel like an anime. I feel like it could have felt even more like an anime if we had some things from the games right here. Like for instance, Chaos Control, Chaos Spear, Chaos Blast. Bro, what the frick? We could have had it all right here. Matter of fact, the scene where the part in SA2 where Sonic and Shadow raced on the Space Colony Arc. We could have had that. Wait a minute, that should have been in this film. We could have had that. Oh man, I love this movie, but the missed opportunities is crazy. We could have had all. But yeah, we could have had all, man. And one more. Oh man, the Faker. They didn't say the Faker. There was no ultimate. I'm the ultimate life form. We don't even get things. We don't even get like some of the most iconic moments adapted in the big screen. I have a feeling this film is kind of not necessarily rushed. Maybe they're saving it for the next. I think so as well. I feel like they're saving the big stuff for the next time Shadow comes. What's one thing you could change to make it better? I would change a lot, to be honest. I love this movie. It's the best Sonic movie, but there's a lot of things I would change, especially since we got Shadow now. Like for instance, which I'm about to get into now. Biggest thing I would change. Biggest problem, in my opinion, biggest problem of the film. Overall, I thought it was pretty good. I do agree it's the best out of the three. Even if it has missed opportunities, yeah, I agree. Like for instance, biggest problem with the film, which I kind of saw it from the trailers and the writing, but it's still in the games. The reason why Shadow gets triggered is Maria's death, of course. But here's the thing, it's the way they chose to kill her off. What really? You mean to tell me you adapt SA2? So it's she in the games she dies from getting shot by a gun agent, but here in the movie she dies from an explosion. If that's the case, you might as well just shot her. Matter of fact, yeah, they should have just shot her. We and you want to know something else? Instead of cutting away from that part, they could have dragged that moment out a bit and show Shadow. I get it's an adaptation, but that was one of the things they shouldn't have changed. Because that would have actually brought tears from the audience. Would have made their ratings even higher. Yeah, kept it. Yeah, keep it with the same storyline. I agree. They should have kept it the way it was. They didn't have to change that. Even if they were to just not actually show her get domed, not actually show her get shot, still have it be there, and still have Shadow get emotional before we cut back to present timeline. Like actually show put more emphasis on Shadow being emotional because he did get upset, but they kind of cut away quick. I would show Shadow in some tears, show at least most of it. Have us really because that's a problem with this film. Whenever this film gets emotional, it is a little sad, but we don't really spend much time with it because they cut away a lot. They they skip through those things, or they have a joke again, some of the humor take away from the seriousness, which that is a problem. But that they're gonna have to at least address or change when by the time we get movie four. At least dial back some of the humor because that did kind of yeah. Like I said, this film is emotional, but it could have been more emotional. You get what I mean? But yeah, they should have kept her getting shot. Have this lab take place in the space colony arc and actually in space. Show Shadow actually crying as he's getting teleported down, as he's getting fallen down in the pod, how it was in the games. Except in this movie, you show him actually crying, screaming and crying when he's falling down into Earth before he gets locked away for 50 years. Then cut back to it, come back to present time, bam. And then that talk Sonic and Shadow have on the moon. Shut up. Just have Shadow just ex- express himself to Sonic. When they're having that talk on the moon, that's some good stuff. Just a little bit more dialogue, a little bit more stretched out. It could have gone on for like 3 more minutes. Just them talking. Not necessarily 3 more minutes. 2 more minutes, like an extra minute. Just them talking. Then have them look at the sky. That would have been perfect. Even as an SA2 adaptation. That would have been perfect. They could have really made this movie emotional for me. Because unfortunately, I wasn't crying as I wanted to because they didn't spend that much time with it. But yeah, I get it. It's this is a film for general public. It's not always going to be the same as the games. That I don't care. I don't care. They should have kept that. They should have kept Maria getting shot. Even if they didn't actually show it, her getting shot, they should have at least implied she got shot. I personally would like to feel the dramatic. I personally prefer if they did show it, just to feel the dramatic weight, just to give the movie more weight than it has. But yeah, flesh out the Maria stuff more, show her actually getting shot, and also the Chaos Emeralds, bro. Actually tie it into the plot. Stop having it just be a last minute decision because I'm under the impression that they throw in the Chaos Emeralds in last second just because oh hey we gotta do Super Sonic and Super Shadow. You could have had the Chaos Emeralds be more involved with the plot as it was in ASA2. Actually have Shadow. You could have had Shadow going around places looking for the Chaos Emeralds. Yeah, it would have helped balance out some of the corny scenes. Like I said, I have no problem with with some of the humor. That's what made the Sonic franchise. Yes, we had our jokes, we had funny scenes, but we also really had the serious scenes, which helped us get us more in there. That's what made a lot of us Sonic fans still to this day because we understand the core of these characters and the message that these games produce. It helped made it different, gave Sonic an identity away from some other game franchises like Mario and Pac-Man. That Sonic had an identity. Sonic always had something to say, and especially for a movie that many people that don't even play the games watch, it would have touched. It would have done something, you know. But yeah, like I said, bring in the Chaos Emeralds, actually tie into to the point of plot, have Shadow go around places, going around the planet looking for Chaos Emeralds to power up the Space Colony Arc. And as for the Master Emerald, I swear to God, this is one thing I'm gonna say right now. I hate how they treat the Master Emerald in this universe. No Angel Island. We don't get no Angel Island. Yes, I'm happy that they. Here's one thing that pisses me off with the Sonic movie universe. It's like they know they have the the budget, they have the creative mental limited. The possibilities are endless. They have the technology they can to adapt the game shit, but we don't. It's almost like they choose to do this shit on purpose, specifically to piss me off as a Sonic fan, and then they come up with some weird explanation on why we don't get the things we want. Some of the things we want. The Chow Garden, yeah, fuck you, Paramount. They're not Chow Garden. They're people in costumes at a Chuck E. Cheese type of place in Tokyo. They should have been here. We should have actually gotten Chow Garden. We could have even gotten Angel Island to be that place where they kept saying, "Oh, Knuckles knows where this place is." It could have been Angel Island. But no, instead, you want to know what it is? It's freaking Wade. Because, hey, if we didn't get enough Wade before in the Wade show, again, a show that was supposed to be about Knuckles, we have to do a little stupid scene in here where it shows Wade playing with the Master Emerald like it's a goddamn soccer ball, hockey, like he's in hockey or something. I'm being honest with you, I don't like how they treat. I'm not liking how they treat the Chaos Emeralds so far. Yes, I'm liking the Supersonic stuff in these movies, but I'm not liking the way they portray the Chaos Emeralds so far. As a longtime Sonic fan, they could have treated the Chaos Emeralds a bit more respect than they just did. Than the way they just throw it in last second. You want to have the Chaos Emeralds involved? Actually have it be like SA2 where it's Team Sonic versus Team Shadow going around collecting Chaos Emeralds, making sure Team Sonic making sure they don't fall into the wrong hands, and Team Dark with Eggman actually getting the Chaos Emeralds to power up the Space Colony arc. There you go. You want a storyline, Paramount? I pretty much just said it all. Pretty much just told you a lot of the things they could have done. As well as throwing in some Easter eggs references that would have actually made sense for this particular movie. And you want to know something else? The part where hear me out. What if instead of having commissioner having the commissioner Walters, is that, yeah, that's his name, the commissioner, be killed from a explosion, right? What if it's Shadow? I mean, I don't know if I were to have Shadow actually like intentionally try to kill him, but his actions, like, let's just say his actions. I wouldn't say he's intentionally there. I mean, yes, he's gonna get revenge for Maria, but what if he actually takes his anger too far and his aggressiveness actually gets the commissioner and Tom? Let me have you guys about you so you can make that money and show them how to write the movie. It's just, as a Sonic fan, there are some things they could have done here and there. It's just that. But yeah. What if they had his actions get the commissioner killed, and in fact the part where he punches Tom, what if he recognizes him? Hear me out. What if they kept the story as it was in the games, but instead have Tom's grandpappy kill Maria? Have his granddad as a as a as a gun soldier. Forgive me, I'm just being silly right now. Kind of like the movie. Have his granddad kill Maria, and then he recognizes Tom as, I know you. You're son or grandson of the person that killed my best friend. And then he intentionally punches him. He punches him so hard to the point where he almost dies, but that's when Sonic comes in last second, rushes in, saves Tom from Shadow, and just when Shadow goes away, he goes back and look at Tom, and he already sees the damage is already done. He already brutally beats up Tom to the point where you can actually feel it this time. Actually, Sonic shed a tear. And then that's when the other characters come, like how it is in the movie, except make it more emotional, like I said. Like I said, the movie is emotional, but it could have been more emotional. It could have fleshed the stuff out more. Yeah. And yeah, that's when they all start crying, especially Tails. I would have Tails actually start crying. Knuckles get more angry. Sonic just looks hopeless, and Maddie goes in to hug all of them while she, of course, it gets sad as well. Sonic looks hopeless. Tails is crying, and Knuckles gets real angry, and Shadow gets ultra aggressive. And speaking of Knuckles, yeah, speaking of Knuckles, yeah, I will have Knuckles try to protect the team, be like the team protector. You know what I mean? The family protector. I'll also have Knuckles get his rematch. I would personally. This is not even something they had to do, but I would have personally had Knuckles get flicked back at Shadow. You know what I mean? Get a rematch. You know what I mean? Get a little rematch. Like, yeah, I don't know how I would do it, but I would have Knuckles get a little rematch with Shadow. To be honest. just to see, just to show Knuckles' worth. Yeah, I would I would have gave Tails and Knuckles their own arcs, to be honest, where they make their choices as well, where they, tie them to the themes, tie both Tails and Knuckles to the themes, because I'm happy they got more to do, but they could have done just a little bit more. You could have had that scene where Tails saving the city and have Knuckles do some things as well with the emerald. Let's just say it involves the Chaos Emeralds. But yeah, yeah. But I like them better in this film than I did in Sonic 2. But yeah, there you go. I would have just done more with them. They could have had Eggman just be an even bigger threat this time than he was in Sonic 2. Could have fleshed out the Shadow and Maria stuff more. Could have. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Here's emotional. Here's this one. This is something I would do. Like, let's just say after Tom survives all the injuries and Sonic gets proud. First of all, they just cut. We could have had a scene after the final battle of them going to the hospital. We could have easily had a scene where all three of the characters are going to the hospital, rushes through the hospital, and they find out that Tom survived the punches, and that's when they could have gotten emotional. They could have hugged Tom, and we could have gotten an emotional song. They just skipped to the end of, oh yeah, Tom is alive, yay, yippity happy, like we didn't just get serious for a fucking second. They could have just had at least a scene, a moment of them finding out he's still he's alive, that he's not dead. I personally didn't think they were gonna kill him off, since of course Sonic is more lighthearted than Shadow, and they don't have the guts to actually do. From what I've seen with this movie, they don't have the. I don't know if Paramount has the guts to go all the way out. Yeah, to go all the way out with the darkness. Which I'm not saying make this a depressing film. I'm not saying that at all. Sonic Adventure 2 wasn't even depressing. It was dark, but it wasn't depressing. I'm not saying like just make it a gory fist depressing film with Sonic characters. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm just saying feel the moment, like have me feel the scenes, because unfortunately I didn't really get a chance to feel some of these moments. They didn't flesh it out all the way. They kind of just rushed by it quick to get to things, other things in that. Have me feel for some of these moments. Yeah, you know what I mean? But yeah. Also with Shadow, with character arc, I would have personally had him learn more about himself throughout the movie. Learn more about the backstories, about what happened. Like I said, flesh them out a little bit more so I could feel for him. Cause I'm be honest with you, some people are saying this is the best version of Shadow. I personally don't think it is. Movie Shadow is up there. Don't get me wrong. But if they were to flesh him out a little bit more, he would have been at least my top second, at least my second, or he would have been my favorite version of Shadow. As it stands now, he's like top. He's top five, but he's like 4 or 5, or he's like 4. He's like 4 for me. He's like 4. But yeah, they could have fleshed him out a bit more. My fourth interpretation, favorite interpretation is my fourth. He's actually my third. There's SA2. There's game. Besides the meta era, there's Game Shadow at number 1. There's Shadow. At least SA2 Heroes and '06 Shadow. Never mind. This is actually my second favorite. Now that I think about it. Wait. Oh, there's Sonic X Shadow. Yeah, Sonic X Shadow is actually my second favorite. Sonic X Shadow and SA2. SA2. Some people are gonna be like, those are different. It's Game Shadow. It's game. This is when Shadow was at its peak. SA2 Heroes and '06 and Shadow Generations and Shadow Generations. Then there's Sonic X Shadow, and now we got movie 3 Sonic. I mean Shadow. We get movie Shadow. But yeah, have me like I said, have me feel for some of these characters. Like make the movie longer. Yeah, that's kind of my biggest problem with this film. Make the movie longer. Actually, give Maria flesh out the Maria stuff. Actually have her get shot. Actually show we could have had Chaos and the Chaos almost tie more into the blood. We could have had Knuckles and Tails get their own arcs. We could have had Sonic get character development into Game Sonic. We could have had like I said, all the things I mentioned they could have done. This literally could have been a perfect adaptation of SA2. We could have even had Dark Sonic for a minute. Have all the darkness. Really make me feel for some of these scenes. Cause like I said, I couldn't really get emotional because they didn't flesh it out enough. And here's the thing I would have done. At the end of the movie, once they find out Tom is alive, this is gonna hear me out, Sonic fans, and everybody that's watching this live. Hear me out. They could have had. I would personally have Sonic say, "Oh yeah, Tom, I love you." Both all Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. After the final battle, Tom, I love you. I'll always have you in my heart. I won't do anything to you. But for our safety, but for everything to protect the universe for our safety, it's time to go. What I mean by that is, at the end of the movie, after they made sure Tom was safe, they say goodbye to him. They say goodbye to Tom and Maddie, and they all get a hug before they go back to home, Sonic's home world, to keep for safety reasons to protect the universe. Sonic, you can even have Sonic say, "I'll come back and visit," and have Tom be, "I'm proud of you. Do better. Hope you make good choices along the way." And that's when we get Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles at the end, going back to Sonic's homeworld. Yeah. And also a little nitpick. They didn't. I mean, actually, not. Kind of a nitpick or slash problem. They should have had the Bio Lizard be in this film. The Bio Lizard, like that scene in where Super Sonic and Super Shadow are fighting all those robots. I would have had the Bio Lizard instead of all those robots. They could have put the Bio Lizard there, but I understand that would have taken a lot of time to make the budget, all that. But still, no, they would have had the Bio Lizard be there. And instead of Gerald Robotnik, in my opinion, they could have kept Gerald Robotnik dead. But you want to know something? Since we got the cows, we got the gun, we got the motorcycle from the Shadow game. Instead of Gerald Robotnik, we could have gotten Black Doom. That's a stretch. I'm not gonna lie. That's a stretch. Not many people know Black Doom, but not many people know Black Doom. But if you're a Sonic fan, I think they could have kept Gerald Robotnik dead, and we could have had Black Doom kind of show Shadow, be like Shadow's darker presence, be like, "Oh, you wanna." Oh, you don't forget what they did to you. Take revenge. Do all this stuff. Have them go around collecting all the Chaos Emeralds to power up the Space Colony arc, kind of like the Shadow game. And to an extent, SA2, except Black Doom wasn't in SA2. You could have done that. You could have had Gerald Robotnik just stay in the flashback scenes. I never heard of him. Not many people that don't play the Shadow game. If nobody played the Shadow game or even Shadow Generations, I don't think You heard nobody. I don't think y'all heard of Black Doom, but I know Black Doom. Black Doom essentially created Shadow with Gerald, except they didn't put that in this movie. They didn't put Black Doom in this movie, which I can actually understand why. I understand why I didn't put Black Doom in this movie, and that is a bit of a stretch. I would have personally liked it, but that is a bit of a stretch. I'll admit. Black Doom essentially created Shadow using his DNA. Gerald basically the biolizard, like I described, was a prototype to Shadow, and basically Gerald went to Black Doom to get his DNA to create the actual Shadow. After he, it's a long story, but let's just say he got the chaos. He created Shadow using the Chaos Emeralds, Black Doom's DNA, and a mirror of not necessarily supersonic, but a being that looks like supersonic, which is why Shadow looks the way he does. That's what it is. They didn't really adapt that in the movie because I understand why. I understand why. It would have been too much for some people. Would have been too much. But I would have personally had Black Doom in this movie instead of Gerald Bubonic being in modern day. Have if you're not gonna explain why Gerald's back, then just say Black Doom is the reason why Shadow does the way he does, is evil for a second. I mean, have him motivated by what happened to Maria, but have Black Doom be there, manipulating him. Yeah, and then have the Biolizard also be there instead of those robots. That's how I would have done it. It would have been it would have kind of been cramped. But if you're a Sonic fan, you understand you understand where I'm coming from. You understand what I'm trying to say here, you know. But yeah, those are all our, those are really all my problems, and I'm happy that we got Metal Sonic and Amy now. I personally think we should have been had them though. That's the thing. We could have been had Amy and Metal Sonic since the second movie, at least. If you weren't gonna put Amy there, we could have at least had Metal Sonic. Metal Sonic and Amy, they could have been here since the second movie. I understand not the first movie because we gotta go through all the origin stuff with the first movie. Plus, we didn't know if they were gonna do it right. Because remember, these are the same motherfuckers who couldn't even get his character model right. But we're past the character model shit. We're now adapting SA2. We got Amy and Metal Sonic now. So the next movie, oh yeah, next movie, we gotta talk about it at the end of this review. We gotta talk about it. But first, got the negatives out of the way. Let's get to the positives. Alright. Besides the pop culture humor, I did love the references to the games. You know? I did love the references to the games. I did love when the part where Sonic, before Sonic jumped out of the helicopter at the beginning, he said the same line as he said in SA2. Talk about low budget flights. There's no food, no movies. I'm out of here. Except he says we are out of here. And they should have played the Escape from the City. Instead, like I said before, since apparently Escape from the City was in this movie. I didn't hear it. I looked at the credits and they said Escape from the City was in this movie. And I'm like, where was it at? Apparently it was during a London. It was during the London scene. During the London scene. It should have been when they jumped out of the helicopter. They could have played it there. They should have played it there. But I'm happy he set the line. Another thing I'm happy with. I'm happy we're getting more. They could have done more Sonic music, but I'm happy we're getting some. There was actually some Sonic music here and there. Matter of fact, this one really made me happy. The part where they finished the race, where Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles finished the race, and Sonic found out those holograms, they played the song, the little song where when you finish the levels. That was. I'm never doing that again. But yeah, they actually played that little song, that finishing song. When you finish the level in the game, they actually played that at the end of the race. That made me happy. I'm like, more of this, more of this. Junkie XL, do more of this. Do more of this. If you're gonna return for the next movie, do more of this. I love Live and Learn. Man, when they played Live and Learn in this movie, oh my god, especially when Super Sonic and Super Shadow, I swear to God, that really made me happy. That really made me happy. As a matter of fact, they played the part where Super Sonic and Super Shadow are fighting. They really played that as a dramatic theme. They played the dramatic theme of it. I'm like, damn, Paramount, do more of this. When it comes to the music, do more of this, please. Do more of this. I'm happy they put the Eggman theme there. I'm happy they put the Eggman theme there from SA. Yeah, from SA2. But yeah. Also, speaking of Eggman, another thing, this was definitely the biggest music in the song in the franchise. Junkie XL nailed it. That's what I'm saying. Like they should have done this from the get go. They should have done this from the start. But yeah, also speaking of Eggman, a little missed opportunity. I come to make an announcement. I know that's not what he actually said from the in the actual game. He said, "Citizens, watch me do this." But here's what I would have done. I would have had Jim Carrey actually say, "I've come to make an announcement." I wouldn't say the actual shit that they said that I come to make an announcement video, because I don't think that nobody would take that serious. But I would have him say, "I come to make an announcement. Citizens of this place, citizens of the earth, I come to make an announcement. I'm gonna blow up the moon." And a little nitpick. He didn't. He has Eggman blew the moon up in this movie, but he didn't do it on purpose to show off his power. He did it on purpose because he did it on accident because he was working with Tails and Knuckles trying to move the beam away from the Earth, and he accidentally blows up the moon. I would have him intentionally blow up the moon to show off his power, like in SA2. But yeah, I like that. And I would have had, I couldn't make an announcement. He should have said that. I said that to my mama. He was like, I should have, he should have said that. That was a missed opportunity. He should have said that. But yeah, I'm happy about that. I'm happy they played Live and Learn. Especially, oh man. Also, a little nitpick. I would have had the action be a little bit longer. Like I keep saying, they should have made some of these scenes a little longer. But I'm happy we got what we have. But yeah, and also, I would have. And also, I'm happy. Oh yeah, the references. Like I'm sorry, I was distracted for a second. The references. I'm happy. My favorite fight scene in the movie. It was definitely Sonic versus Shadow fighting their super form. Yeah, that was cool. That was lit. That was lit. It was kind of an anime vibe. Could have done more with that part, but I'm happy with what it was. But yeah, I'm happy with the references. The references. As for the references, another thing. One thing I like. Another thing I like. Oh, Team Sonic. Team Sonic. Team Sonic. Yeah. So there's Team Sonic, of course, some Sonic heroes, right? Like I said, there could have been also been Team Dark, but they didn't do that for whatever reason. But yeah, I'm happy we get Team Sonic. I'm happy at the beginning doing when they jump out the helicopter, they had Tails grab Sonic and Knuckles the way it was in Sonic Heroes, because that was one of the things that was missing from Sonic 2. We didn't get a moment where Sonic is grabbing onto Tails while Knuckles is grabbing onto to Sonic's feet like it wasn't Heroes. What's your favorite fight scene in the movie? My favorite fight scene, it was it's it's between Super Sonic versus Super Shadow and the final battle, where they stop the space colony arc. It's definitely the final act of the film. It's in the final act of the movie for sure. It's either Super Sonic versus Super Shadow or when they stop the space colony arc. But yeah, but yeah, I'll actually say Super Sonic for Super Shadow. I'm sorry, that fight scene was too lit. That fight scene was too lit, bro. But yeah, I'm happy we even got Super Sonic versus and Super Shadow. Matter of fact, the concept of Super Sonic versus Super Shadow in this movie, I'm happy part of the fight took place on the moon. I would have had the full fight take place on the moon. Just showing what they could do if when they're not on Earth. It would have been an anime. In my opinion, a lot of people say it was an anime fight. It would have been. You would have definitely felt the anime vibes if it was. If like, I would have it take place. The full fight to take place on the moon. You would have felt the anime vibes. You would have just felt it because I like that Super Sonic for Super Shadow fight. That was so lit. But yeah, another thing I loved about this movie, it was in the references. I liked the what else I liked. I liked pretty much. I like to be honest. I really besides the problems I mentioned, I really liked everything else about this film. The dynamic between Team Sonic. I like the dynamic between Team Sonic. Just seeing their brotherhood, just seeing the way they interact, the way they work together, the way they play a part in the story, despite some of the things I wish they could have done more with, some of the things I wish they could have done. I still like what they did with it, you know. I still liked how they help each other out. They talk. They are like a part of this family. I think there could have had been more scenes at the beginning. There could have been more at the beginning of the movie. I feel like there could have been more scenes with them bonding as a family. Of course, when they're not in action, so that way you feel it when Tom dies. It's like you lose your father figure. It's like what the fuck. Wait, Shadow, you gotta get stopped. You would have felt that moment, you know. There could have been more scenes of them bonding as a family at the beginning before you get to the action. You know. Yeah, I like this. I really love this movie. Best movie out of the three? Absolutely. Yes, I would. I can understand why some people say the second movie is better. I do understand it. I think a lot of people. I see some people say the second movie is better. I can understand why. I understand why some people think the second movie is better because it fleshes things out more, right? And there's more of a story to it. I personally think this movie was better. I think Sonic 3 was better because of the fact because of the fact that it's more emotional and the story. I still felt the moment where Tom got hurt. It still felt something, but I think they could have, like I said, they could have delved more into the emotional parts of this film. So that way you feel it even more. That way, even if you would already feel it, you would have felt it even more It would have been like a real emotional moment. You know what I mean? They could have delved into touching some of the bonding moments a bit more. So that way, when something bad happens, you really really feel it. But yeah, whenever this movie we did emotional, it is emotional. I just think it could have been more emotional, in my opinion. But yeah, not saying make it a depressing movie. SA2 wasn't depressing. Don't get it twisted. I'm just saying make the movie real emotional. Yes, the movie is emotional. It could have been more emotional though. So yeah, that's almost the positives, like really everything else. The action scenes. Yep, just seeing Shadow with a gun, just seeing Shadow with the motorcycle at the beginning, Sonic chasing Shadow, Sonic chasing Shadow in the motorcycle, his Shadow doing the Akira slide, which I didn't even know what that. To be honest, I'll be honest, y'all. I didn't know what the Akira slide was until I started seeing other people talk about it. I'm being honest, you. That's gonna sound shocking to some of y'all, but I didn't even know what the Akira slide was until I seen many people talk about it. This was definitely Ben Short's best performance as Sonic. Oh yeah, definitely, most definitely. This is his best version of Sonic. This is his best performance as Sonic. I hope he gets even better with Sonic 4, especially since we got Amy and Metal Sonic now. I want to see how movie Sonic acts around Amy. I want to see how movie Sonic acts around Amy. You know, I just want to see it because I I now know how movie Sonic gets portrayed. I want to see the way this version of Sonic acts around Amy. Because it looks to me as he's gonna be the one in love with her, and they're gonna naturally fall in love, right? Instead of, I mean, not anymore. Earlier Sonic games where she used to fangirl with Sonic. I'm happy they stopped doing that. I hope she doesn't. One thing I'm gonna say is I hope they don't turn Amy into like a girl boss type where she's better than everyone. She's better. One thing I like about Amy is that she's compassionate. So I hope they keep that part of Amy here. When we delve deep into her in movie 4. But yeah, like I said, the action this time, fantastic. Could have been longer. Could have been longer, but still fantastic nonetheless. But yeah, I really do love this movie. The story, and whenever it would get emotional, it still is emotional. Don't get me wrong. What I mean by it could have been more emotional is that they could have done more what they already did. They just could have delved deeper into it the moment, and you just feel the drama. You just feel the weight. It would have gave the movie more weight. You would just feel it more. And I would have cut out some of the humor because, yeah, it really pissed me off. Some of this humor really pissed me off as a Sonic fan. So yeah, especially if you play SA2, I would have made Eggman more of a threat than he was in Sonic 2, especially since this is SA2 we're adapting here, where the motherfucker literally held a gun to Amy's head. SA2, he literally held a gun to Amy's head, said, talking about, you hand over that ammo. He outsmarts their tricks with the fake emeralds. Now that I think about it, there should have been a scene like that in this film, where Eggman outsmarts them with the fake emerald. Should have been a scene like that. I'm just saying, it would have. If you know SA2, it would have dealt. You know what happens after. It would have delved deeper into Tails' arc that I just described. Would have fleshed Tails out even more. Matter of fact, that part where Tails rescues Sonic from falling down, bro. that could have been the reason. Have Instead of having Sonic run out of energy, how about before Super Sonic and Super Shadow team up, have that scene where Tails rescues Sonic? What the freak? But yeah, there you go. I love how the whole Sonic fandom got together for that Living Large scene. That really made my day. We was all singing, and especially the post credit scenes too. For one, the first post credit scenes with Amy and Mel Sonic, about time, about time. Matter of fact, next Sonic movie, I said we was gonna talk about what we could do with Sonic 4 at the end of this review. We're approaching the end of this review now. Sonic 4, have a take on Sonic's plan. It's getting to a point now where I can understand Sonic 3 being on Earth because they were adapting Sonic Adventure 2. But I'm just saying, one of these Sonic movies, at one point, matter of fact, the next Sonic movie, well, we're gonna wait 3 years now. It comes out 2027. You have a good reason for us to wait for us to wait 3 more years this time. Start working on those visuals. You have a bigger budget. Have it take place on Sonic's location. You have time to design Sonic characters. Bring in more Sonic characters like the Chaotix, Big the Cat, and Rouge the Bat. Freaking E1 Omega Gamma. We could actually have a Sonic Hero style movie next time on Sonic's World. You have all the characters except for Silver, of course. We're saving Silver for down the line. We could have the whole cast from Heroes in Sonic 4. They could make a Sonic Hero style movie. We got Sonic. We got Metal Sonic now. Matter of fact, here's one thing I'm gonna let's all start a petition to have that iconic scene from Sonic OVA and Sonic 4. You could have the OVA hat, which now that I think about it, they could have the OVA and Sonic in the Knuckles show, which now that I think about it, Knuckles didn't have this OVA hat here. It needs to return. Have the OVA hat from the for Knuckles return to Sonic 4 and have the iconic scene where Strange, isn't it? Strange, isn't it? And have Sonic and Metal Sonic first have them race, of course, as you always gotta have Sonic and Metal Sonic race. Have them bump head to head at each other, run at each other's head to head. That iconic scene where they're both at each other, in each other's faces, running in the ice. Have that here in Sonic 4 with Ben Schwartz's performance. And then at the end, Metal Overlord, man. Metal Overlord at the end of Sonic 4. Now that we have Metal Sonic, make him the main villain. Of course, have Jim Carrey as Robotnik come back and have Shadow. Yes, Shadow did indeed survive. So he gets to actually fulfill his purpose instead of having amnesia like he did in Heroes. We can even have Shadow adapt his character development from Sonic 06, where he says, if the world chooses to become my enemy, I will fight like I always have. Have that in Sonic 4. Except we actually see the Shadow fulfill his promises instead of die, but then come back with amnesia. So yeah. There you go. Have it be on Sonic's planet. Have Metal Sonic collect data from all the Sonic characters and the Chaos Emeralds. That will actually be a reason for everyone. You can have the reason for why we get all the Sonic characters this time in Sonic 4 because Metal Sonic is collecting data. Matter of fact, we could have Mecha. We can even have Mecha Sonic. We could have Metal Sonic, Metal Sonic Neo, Mecha Sonic, Silver Sonic. Hell, onto you can even have Metalix. Sonic fans, y'all know who Metalix is. We can even have Metalix for a few scenes. No, just show Metal Sonic. Actually, have Metal Sonic be a threat. Man, you could do so much, man. This Sonic movie universe has potential. Just go out. Just go out. No holding back with his humor, his budget, all this random bullshit he be having problems with. No more weird scenes as the Uptown Funk dance, as the robotic dance during the lasers in this movie, the Knuckles show with this bowling weight tournament shit. No road trip, no wedding stuff. Just the possibilities are endless, man. Which, for the love of God, we have to get endless possibilities in Sonic 4. Now that I think about it. Flesh this universe out, man. You have 3 years now, Paramount. 3 years, not 2 years, 3 years. Hopefully, the wait will be worth it. They never disappoint with this universe so far. Even though some people think, if some people say Sonic, this Sonic movie was better, this Sonic movie is better, this Sonic movie, this and that. Even though some people have different opinions on these movies, I always loved them. I loved them to death. They hold such a special place in my heart because of the fact they brought these characters into a place we never been. The Sonic movies brought the Sonic franchise in general to a place it's never been before. In the honestly the best place possible because of these movies. And now we get this third one, even better. All the hypes are all the hype around it. It's like, damn, what a time to be a Sonic fan. I do hope they take the criticism though and apply that to the next movie, make it even better. Since I'm happy that we're getting more mature storylines. I'm happy that we're actually taking things more serious now. But I hope we take these even more serious since we're getting since if you know Metal Sonic, you know Metal Sonic, at least especially in Sonic Heroes and Sonic OVA, this mother freaking Metal Sonic can actually be a real threat. If you know Metal Legs, especially as well, you can see the potential Metal Sonic has to be a real serious force to be reckoned with. Yes, we get that post-credit scenes where Sonic and Amy basically destroy all the Metal Sonics, but he could come back. Metal Sonic always comes back. Have Metal Sonic. What if in this Sonic movie universe, it's Metal Sonic that's the biggest ultimate threat? The biggest, since they say they want these movies to be like in Avengers style movies, it's like, okay, whatever. Just make these movies Sonic movies. I don't care how you do it. Just make them Sonic movies. What if but let's just say this though. What if Metal Sonic is the big ultimate threat of this franchise? It will make sense why he hasn't appeared for so long, which about time we're finally getting. I'm happy Metal Sonic's here because he should have been here since Sonic 2. But yeah, I'm happy Sonic's here. I'm happy. I'm glad you liked the movie overall. Oh yeah, I love this movie. I really do love this movie. I do think there should have been things that would have been done better, but I still love this movie for what it was trying to do, for what it accomplished, I still love this movie. Yeah, don't get it wrong. Don't get me wrong. It's still emotional. It's fun to watch. It's the best out of the three. Yeah, and I do hope Sonic 4 is even better. They somehow keep managing to top themselves. So it's like it's like every time with these movies, it's like how are you gonna get better with this movie? You're gonna get better with this one. Somehow they keep managing to make it even better. It's like that's the Knuckles show, of course. We don't want to talk about the Knuckles show. Which, by the way, that Shadow spinoff project, which I've been hearing about, they plan on doing. It better not be another Knuckles show situation. Which, by the way, speaking of the Knuckles show, let me get that out of the way real quick. Overall, terrible show. Shit's ass. Uh, what the fuck? I'm happy we got the flames. I'm happy we got the firearm. I'm happy they referenced Iblis in that fourth episode. Except he's not really Iblis. It's the fucking puppet. It's a puppet of Iblis. And what the fuck? Blah blah blah. I'm happy we got Patrick Mack, and hopefully he returns as well and take him more serious than whatever the fuck you did with him in that show. In that show, but overall, it was about Wade and his family in a fucking bowling tournament. And I'm not here to watch Wade with his family drama in a bowling tournament, bitch. I'm here to watch Sonic the fucking Hedgehog, Knuckles, guard the Master Emerald, fighting Sonic villains. Oh my god. What the freak? Just, bro, no more bullshit. You were getting mature storylines now. Actually flesh these characters out. Bro, it gets to a point, man. Overall, Knuckles show is trash. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and get my ratings since we're approaching the end of this review. The Knuckles show, trash, terrible, 2 out of 10. Only because I liked the first few episodes, and I did like how they brought in the OVA hat, and I did like how they brought in the Fire Fists from Sonic Heroes. If you're especially, I'm happy that the Fire Fists are in this movie as well. Especially if we're gonna adapt Sonic Heroes next time. Yeah, then you might as well keep them. Yeah, keep them here and bring back the Sonic OVA hat. God damn it. God damn. Also, fuck Wade. So you mean to tell me you focus on him in the Knuckles show, but then you explain off camera that he's guarding the Master Emerald? Fuck you, Paramount. Don't ever do that shit again. Don't ever bullshit me like that again. I feel like they had to reference the Knuckles series somehow in this movie, in case this was the final film. Like, bring it all together. Yeah, fuck you. Don't ever do that shit again. Don't ever do that bullshit again. Matter of fact, the Shadow spin-off film or series, it better be about fleshing out. Matter of fact, the Shadow spin-off series, it better be about what happened 50 years ago, fleshing that shit out instead of what you're gonna make. We gotta have Agent Stone do some shit. We gotta have what's it called? The Commander is gonna be about the Commander, and not even General Robotnik. Fuck you, Paramount. Yes, not fuck you, Paramount. I love you, Paramount. I love what you're doing with the Sonic movies franchise. But I'm just saying, do better than this. Do better than this. Don't ever do that shit again. Yeah, fuck that. Yeah, fuck that shit. Don't ever do that shit again. So yeah, Knuckles show, 2 out of 10. 2 out of 10. There were some things I liked, but overall, fuck that show. Sonic Movie 3, however, it gets a 9.5 out of 10. 9.3 out of 10. 9.4. 9.4. Yeah. That's my final rank. 9.5. It's in that range. 9.5 and a half. 9.4 and a half. Yeah. There we go. 9.4 and a half out of 10. That doesn't make any sense. But I'm just saying, it's up there. It could have been better. It could have been 10, but like I said, if they would have done the things I did, it would have for sure been a 10 out of 10. But yeah, that's my review of Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I pray to God they do better with Sonic 4. We're getting there. We're getting there. I feel like they're building up to give us what we want. I feel like the reason why we don't get the game stuff because they want to introduce the audience to it, so that when we do get the game stuff, it feels satisfied, feels earned, especially to us Sonic fans that follow this franchise, Sonic movie franchise, since the very beginning. But yeah, that's Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and great ass film. Go watch it. Please support this film. Please beat Mufasa at the box office. Beat Mufasa. make it even better. So far, the best video game movie of all time. It's gonna get even better with Sonic 4. Yes, we're gonna have Five Nights at Freddy's 2 by then. We're gonna have the Mario movie 2 by then. But let's be real. I'm looking where I'm. The eyes are on Sonic 4. The Sonic franchise are let's just say the Sonic movie franchise are the gold standard of these movies. Yes, sure, the Mario movie was a better adaptation, but the Sonic movies had better writing. And as for the FNAF movie, unless you could somehow make that movie, no, FNAF movie, the most I see it, they need to make the second FNAF movie scarier in order to come close to Sonic. At least come close to Sonic. It's not going to be as good as Sonic, yeah, but have it come close to Sonic. Have the second and third FNAF movie be scary. And as for the Mario movie, really all you need to do is just have better. My biggest problem with the Mario movie was the script, was the writing, and the missed opportunities there as well. Improve those, and it'll be on par with Sonic, or probably even better. Or Sonic be better. Who fucking knows? But yeah, I remember the trailers of the Mario movie made me really think, oh yeah, this is gonna be the video game movie that changed the game. But turns out it was Sonic 3, or it's the Sonic movies that changed the game of video game movie. That really pushed the standards. The Mario movie, it was just the icing of the cake. It was just there. It was just good for what it was. It was good. Could have been better. That's all I'm saying. It was a little underwhelming. But I still like the Mario movie. But yeah. That was Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Great movie. It was fantastic. I pray to God Paramount improves from there. We may not have our CGI Sonic movie yet, but we still are getting the movies but we still are getting some where we ask for it. And for that, Paramount, you you have my respect. I respect Paramount for actually giving a shit about about the Sonic franchise. Cause keep in mind, this is the same franchise that could have just that almost fell off of a character model. Look how far we come, guys. We're at the point where we're talking about Sonic 4 being a Sonic Heroes adaptation. I swear to God. But yeah, that's Sonic the Hedgehog 3. That's all I gotta say right now. So, yeah, man, all I gotta say right now. That's the Sonic franchise, and yeah, that's my review of Sonic the Hedgehog 3. And I'll talk to y'all later. Let me know what y'all think about this movie. Like, subscribe, hit those comment bells below. Let me know what y'all thought about this review. Let me know what you think about this movie. Let me know what you would have done. Let me know about things you like, what you didn't like. Subscribe, hit those notifications. That's all I gotta say right now for Sonic fans. So, peace. Except one more minute. I got some things I need to address. Hey, Paramount, hire Crush 40 to do the T-Lopes or Crush 40 to do the soundtrack for the next movie. Take notes from the Mario movie. Take notes from the Mario movie and hire T-Lopes and Crush 40 to do the soundtrack for the next movie. You're adopting Sonic Heroes. I better hear all of that shit. I better hear the shit from the games in there. Do more of what you did with this movie. Improve that and have it take place on Sonic Planet. And this could low-key be that Sonic CGI movie fans have been waiting for years. Before the first movie came out. But yeah, that's all I gotta say right now. So, peace out. Love you, Paramount.